Today's conversation is sponsored by the Billy Keels Advisory Program. If you want to learn more about how to make your 9 to 5 optional, just go to billykeels.com/advising. Once again, that's billykeels.com/advising. Breakthrough thinking gives you better choices for your future. And I have to tell you right from the very beginning, this is about money. It's about money. And more importantly, the breakthrough thinking about money that gives you better choices for your future, right? I can't say it enough. Breakthrough thinking gives you better choices for your future. And let's jump into it. You know why? Because, and this is one of the things that I've quite frequently struggled with myself early on. I talked about this, and because whenever you come from one place and go to another, you also have to evolve your thinking, right? You have to start to change and adapt your thinking. It's something that I went through pretty much in episode 447. So I don't want to get us off track, but as you start to evolve, you also must have your thinking evolve. The mindset that you have will either propel you forward further than you've ever thought, or it will limit you in every single step that you can take. It will crush your beliefs. And this is what I want to share with you, how this breakthrough thinking gives you better choices for the future, for your future specifically. So coming from a working class family, lower middle class, and being able to see and witness firsthand the struggles that come with that are related to money. And I mean specifically the struggles like when I watched my mom and dad who busted their butts constantly, had worked multiple jobs to be able to provide. They sacrificed so that me, my brother, and sister could be in really amazing school districts, once or twice private school, and then really amazing public school districts, right? And so watching them and at an early age thinking that everything was related to money, right? And this is where the breakthrough thinking is going to come, because when you start to adapt that thought process, it gives you better choices for your future. The idea was I knew that once I was going to do whatever work I had to do to not have to work multiple jobs, to not have to be stressed or feel stressed. And although some of that replicates, but it just replicates in other ways. But that's a whole different thing. Like I didn't want to have to go and work multiple jobs. And this is one of the things that also my parents helped me to understand was, hey, listen, go to school, get a good job, get education, because that was the formula that worked for them that they didn't take, but they knew that if I took it and my brother and sister took it, that we would have different outcomes in life, right? Maybe I'll do a whole different episode on that, but that's it. So my thought process was I wanted to have more money because money for me, the more money you had, the more secure you were. That's what I was focused on. Boom, boom, get the good job, get the grades, get the job, and go through that way. And then also I wanted to be able to provide a standard of living for my family and also be understood as a positive influence, someone who was reliable, someone who was able to provide and didn't have to ask anybody else to provide for me or for my family. That's what I was thinking as head of household. Those are the things that I thought, that I believed, that I had either telling other people or what I believed deep down inside. And so my whole theory, and this was a flawed theory, and so I'm just going to put my hands up. This is a flawed theory because I thought that everything that I did, that the more money I had, that it was 100% safety. That's absolute garbage. It's just not true. And I will also share with you from my perspective that if you don't have money, it sucks. And if you do have money, it can suck. But just because you have money doesn't mean that things are perfect or that you won't have problems. You just have different problems. But if you ask me silently, because we're the only ones listening, me and you, if you would rather have money or not money, I will tell you I would rather have money each and every day. The idea is you have to begin to change the way that you perceive money and what it is. It is a tool. It is simply a tool. Okay. So what I started realizing that money was not the thing that was going to be able to provide 100% safety. And I also recognized that there was a pattern that started to happen because every time, like, and I talked about this before, like you get this thought process where it's about you want to continue to have more money, and the more money that you have, then the better that things will become, and then there's no issues, right? But that's also not the case. Because no matter how much money you save, there is also a point in time where you're simply stacking cash. And stacking cash, it's eroding in front of your face every single day. You just don't realize it because it's happening so slowly. So this fallacy of being able to stack cash just for stacking cash's sake is the wrong thing. And this is where the breakthrough thinking comes through, because this is about recognizing that, all right, if I invest in myself, when you invest in yourself, that is the accelerator to getting to whatever goal you want to get to. Whether that's helping you to evolve the way that you think about things, whether it is helping you to fine tune a particular skill or skill set, whether that is sales, whether that is marketing, whether that is leadership, whether that is finance, whether that is operations. The investment in yourself and your ability to think things through in a different way helps you and helps anybody who is involved with anything that you do, team, family, or otherwise. So as you start to think about this, you're stacking cash, you start to realize, oh my gosh, every single time that you've done something, it's worked. Let me give you an example, because I used to think about this too, because I had to change the way that I thought about money, because it wasn't about stacking cash anymore. And every single time I realized that I made a bet on myself, it worked. When I invested in books, I increased my knowledge. I talked to you about before, when I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it completely changed the way that I thought about money and the way that I thought about what it took to absolutely be free. I talked about this, like how you easily identify your number to be able to make your job optional. I talked about that in 453. That's a practical application of when I invested in a book, how it actually helped me to increase my knowledge. That knowledge helped me to realize I didn't need $5 million in the bank. I just needed to figure out what are my expenses and how can I do that. But take a listen to episode 453. It'll be a lot more helpful because I go deeper there. When I invested in video courses or podcasts with my time and energy, it increased my confidence. The more confident I became, the more knowledgeable I was, it allowed me to go out and make better decisions and take more action. I invested money and time in different communities, online communities that helped me to increase my access to knowledge, network, deals. And also I increased, and I mentioned this and I've talked about it multiple times, like I made a one-on-one investing in coaching for me, which is almost six figures, like almost $100,000 to invest in myself. When I did that, it improved my decision-making ability in the speed with which I made decisions, and recognizing that time is the most important asset, not money. And trust me, that was really hard for me as a kid from a working class family. Time is ultimately what makes the most difference in your ability to make those decisions. So what I did is I sat down and I created this plan, and I realized, okay, well, what all this with the extra capital that's sitting in my bank account, and this is the really the breakthrough thinking, because it's not about the money just sitting in your bank account. Of course, you want to have a money that's there so that you can help you with your resiliency planning and things like that. If you want to know more about resiliency planning, go listen to episode 454. That will give you a lot more in terms of my own personal experience with it and how that having that resiliency plan proactively can help you. But when you have this plan and you have a dollar or a euro or whatever your currency is, it has a home, then you're putting yourself in the best position. That's exactly what I did. I sat down, I created my plan. Every dollar that I had a home, or whether that was going into assets so that I could have the assets that were working for me, that was decoupled from my time, or it was in my own personal development so that I can increase my confidence, increase my knowledge, increase my ability to make decisions faster and better. Or it was also having that money that is tagged for me to travel with my kids or my loved ones, right? But every dollar has a home and it's in a plan. It's not just stacking dollars for dollars' sakes, because if they're just standing there, they're not doing anything. You want the dollars, you want the money to flow. The more that the money flows, the better position that you are in. And so, so that's the plan. That's the theory of it. There's a reality also too. When you want to go from the theory to practicality, there's some challenges, right? There's always going to be challenges. It doesn't just happen super easily, and there's some trial and error that goes along the way. But you've got to be able to find a way to manage that cushion, like have your capital sitting there, but don't have so much money sitting there that you could be, 15 years without working. Well, that wouldn't help you, because you're cheating from your future self. In a month, maybe that's not enough. Figure out what's right for you. All right. So with that, like I said, you don't always get it right, and things don't always go according to plan. For goodness sakes, go listen to episode 454. I talk about that and why you need the resiliency plan. As I said before, because things do not always go according to plan. It's not a matter of if, it's when they don't go according to plan. How ready are you? But through this whole process and this new breakthrough way of thinking about money and how it gives you better choices for the future, I started realizing that in the moment that it was the most challenging for me when going through divorce, going through challenges with my business. And I've talked about that extensively in episode 435. Go listen to that. Jerome Myers does an amazing job of bringing out the best of those stories so that you can get what you need. But I can tell you, thinking about and having this breakthrough thinking, it saved me. That thinking saved me through divorce. It saved me through dealing with a very challenging professional situation, because it was about being able to release the money to increase the action and activity that I was driving that would help to create the flow that you're going to need in terms of activity and action. That's the breakthrough thinking. It's not just about sticking and stacking cash. It's about making that currency flow so that you can be involved in a process, and that process should help you to move forward. Eventually it becomes an outcome or a result, right? But enjoy that process that you're going through. So hopefully it's not about stacking cash, right? That's not going to keep you. That's not going to save you from everything. There is a process to this whole thing. Like I said, episode 454 breaks down some of the different parts. It's not just about money. That is a part of it. It's not everything. So somebody needs to hear this. You know somebody today that you're thinking, just push click, share it with them, and let them know, hey, look, this is a different way to think about money. I know you're working hard and I know you're just stacking cash, but listen, you got to make that flow. You got to make the investments in yourself, in your in new experiences with your family, in assets, whatever the case may be, but have the currency flowing once you have your sufficient buffer. Like I said, I appreciate you investing time, listening to the episode, watching the episode. Feel free to leave your honest written review, rating. Let me know what you think about this. Is this helpful? Is it not helpful? I'm open, because what I want to do is be able to continue to help you. I want to share these stories, give you new insights so that you can take the most relevant action and make the best decision based on informed information that you can, and also share it with others. So while you are sharing this episode, while you're talking about it with other friends and family, I'll be here preparing for the next episode. So I want you to go out and make it a great day. And I want to say thank you very, very much. Freedom! Today's conversation was sponsored by the Billy Keels Advisory Program. If you're looking to make your 9-to-5 optional and need some help, just go to billykeels.com/advising. Once again, that's billykeels.com/advising.